On October 29th, 2025, Jeremiah 855 broke Yama with the Blue Moon Spear. He did a lot of this. It looks like he figured out in a solo method, and then he ended up going along with somebody else named Muffin, and then they were able to beat the world record. But what he did was he used the computer to figure out and optimize the best strategy for Yama and to like walk after you release him with the Blue Moon Spear. The Blue Moon Spear has a special attack that actually stacks with the amount of ticks an NPC is frozen or bind for. So for every tick an NPC is bind for, it has a 1.5% increase in accuracy. And the damage boost for Break Shackles, which is the special ability of the special attack, is capped at 112.5% increase, while the accuracy boost is not capped. So essentially, you can get a crazy amount of accuracy on Yama and smack him. In the video, he hit for almost 200. You definitely should go watch him if you want to know more about it. But this video is going to be more so talking about Jagex and kind of the history of them saying, "Oh, that's a game-breaking mechanic," but now it's emerging, right? So they kept it, which is what they've done in this case, except for the damage. Which I'm gonna be honest with you, I actually agree with what they've done. I'm glad that they are using the Blue Moon Spear to, or they're still allowing the Blue Moon Spear to be used to release Yama, and then we can kite him around the room, and it works a lot more natural. Kind of like an Araxor boss, only with like you still have the fireballs. If he melees you, he still sends out void flares. So the timing's a little bit more than Araxor, because like Araxor, you wait for it to attack you and then you step back. This method is like you have to step back and kind of anticipate Yama's melee attack, and then obviously protect from mage or range. I'm honestly kind of glad this was discovered when it was, because I feel like the developers get a little horny with how much they want to create new mechanics and add them to the game. And, while we keep percentages extremely low, it just shows that 112.5% to increase damage, and that's like the cap. Stuff like that, those almost is like too much in certain settings, and it hopefully this allows for better play testing in the future, because we've been seeing a lot of issues with play testing. Like Yama didn't drop clues for a while, Doom didn't drop clues for a while. But I also want to talk about the fact that these game breaking mechanics are shaping the game, and this is the most beautiful thing about OSRS. And I don't really know about anything about RS3, so I'm gonna talk about OSRS. I would like the developers of Jagex to understand that part of when things break in this game, it should become emerging. It should become a meta. Designing a boss for, you know, after a piece of content is figured out and discovered, and then like that piece of content doesn't work on it, that's okay. But when a piece of content is used on something and it's discovered that it does this one thing, it usually should be kept. Uh, I remember when Wooks defeated the Coliseum for the first time, he was running around with the scythe and nothing on, and with the Blood Fury. And then we ended up changing those game mechanics later on to where even if you took all your gear off, you still had to do the boss mechanics, as well as now the boss damages the whole floor in the Coliseum versus just like doing just like the part of the room that you'll see in this clip.
Okay. Yeah, that was a bit close, maybe.
And I don't want to sound contradictory or anything like that, but that's what I mean. It's good to figure this stuff out before it's gone for too long. Like the Wooks thing, I think Wooks ended up patching that and like that day or the next day after Coliseum was out and after Wooks beat it. So there's that as well. And then of course we saw Wooks break the game again, like he has been for the last decade, at the first Deadman mode, where he was like out eating the fog. He was ticking it, eating lobsters, trading them in. They were they were what was it called? Noted, and he was like turning them in and kept eating them. So you had that. I mean, like this is the stuff that makes old school RuneScape. Like, and then because Wooks did that, they disqualified him, right? And then didn't like Mod Ash. He ended up paying them or paying him like 10K out of his own pocket because like essentially he did win because he was the one that stayed alive the longest, and that was the whole goal of the tournament was whoever was the last one standing gets 10K. So when we're talking about game breaking, it's where do we draw the line? Because then you have Port Gazard who killed 54 Awakened Leviathan, who all he had to do was leave the fight in while Guthix sleeps intentionally, and then he could do what he wanted to do. Go to Leviathan with 140 something prayer points. And what he did was he would get the 255 strength, spec with the ancient mace, and then just leave the fight. And that was it. That's all he had to do. And it's like, when is the game breaking, not game breaking, and when is it mechanical? This is the part that like it's funny because that happened and he did something incredible with it, and we let it slide. I think honestly making Yama turn into a Raxor in a way. I mean, it doesn't. It's not like a great achievement to where it's like you did something like 54 or 57, whatever, Awaken Leviathan. It's more so just like, isn't that cool that you can do that to that boss? And it took, when did Yama come out? I want to say like May. It took like 6 months for us to figure it out. Isn't that cool? Like that should stay in the game. Now that we know it exists, if you want to make another boss not weak to something like this or anything like that, that's okay. But let this be in the game because honestly, the devs didn't even know it existed, and then we figured it out. You have to let that stay, which they are. They're just negating the damage, which I would agree with them. Mid-tier damage doesn't need to do 200 damage. They're capping it at 100. So it's kind of funny because they're like, we'll cap it at 100. And it's, I think they said like a stack of 75 ticks is the max they'll let it go. And it's like, you cap it at 100. That's okay. But that's what you expect mid-gear to hit when you do like the mechanic correctly is 100. That's still more than any max gear hitting normally. So I think it's a little funny. It is definitely comical, but I understand where they're coming from. I definitely agree with the damage nerf. I'm very happy they are letting Yama still wander the room in P3. It's going to make Melee a little bit easier, for sure. And the mechanics are going to be, like, I like the timing's going to be a little funny. I'm going to enjoy it. I need to do that. And then the other, like, interesting part is Behemoth and Tasty Life was like, it saves 2 seconds on the world record, and he was like, it's pretty cool, but it's not that big of a deal. And I would agree, it really isn't that big of a deal.
Essentially just kneecapping this entire method, so it's actually not very good anymore, which before this only saved about 2 seconds on the world record, so it wasn't like a game-breaking thing for Yama specifically.
Honestly, I'm kind of hoping, if you listen to the beginning of what he said there, that they kind of kneecapped the whole method. However, if this can be optimized in a duo, which I know it's a little bit harder if you watch Jeremiah 855's video all the way to the end. He talks about towards the end how hard it was to do like a duo with this method. I just hope that one day, hopefully, it's like optimized, and potentially we could see a sub 2-minute kill at Yama. That'd be pretty cool, off of something that wasn't even supposed to exist. I try to ask Google, if that Tears of the Guthix got nerfed at all, and it hasn't been. I checked the wiki, I checked Google, I checked all the updates until like my IP got blocked from Jagex because I was just going through, clicking all the news articles, I guess, too much. Overall, I think Jagex made the right decision here. But that doesn't mean they can't later on. So I guess the whole point of this video is that I think we need to start being careful about what mechanics we add to the game, because some of this stuff is getting crazy. However, if y'all remember the what we were supposed to get from Toa was like the range top and bottom with the necklace, and like the lower you were, the damage you were, the more you hit, and that didn't work out. So I feel like the balancing act of like the community doing stuff and then us breaking it and Jagex trying to fix it. Everything right now is in a good equilibrium and everything's balanced out and cool and chilling. But you know, that doesn't mean Jagex won't pull some bullshit later on, and that's what I'm scared of. Don't ruin the game, guys. We're already getting sailing in like 3 weeks or less than 3 weeks at this point. Oh no. Anyway, that's all for me. I appreciate y'all. Y'all got me from like 59 subs, like 66 subs on the last video. It's freaking massive. I appreciate that. So if you could like, sub, comment, and y'all be easy till the next one, because life ain't.